Hey everybody, it's Justin from Bitnerbuilt, and this is the Creality Hi Combo. If you watch my channel, when I was at CES this year, they unveiled it, and I got a little bit of video footage of it working, but now they were nice enough to send one out for me so that I could kind of put it through its paces here. I like showing affordable, easy-to-use machines, and that's what Creality has positioned this one as. And this one even has a CFS unit so that you can have multiple colors of filament that run over to the machine if that's something that you're into. For the machine itself, it's only $389, so that is on the very low end of 3D printers. And Creality is one of the big brands in the industry. Why I like to show these on the channel is I have a lot of woodworkers. I do a lot of woodworking here. This is great for here in the shop. It's great for making tools. It's great for making dust collection adapters and all sorts of other things that I might have to go out and purchase or make myself. It's really easy for me to find a free file, just go ahead and print something out, and then I have a tool on the wall. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make some tool holders. We're going to make some accessories for the machine. And through that, we're going to see how well it prints, how easy it is to use. And so maybe it might be something that you might decide to add to your shop. Today on Bitnerbuilt. The printer comes in two main pieces. We basically just sit this on top of the base plate.
On both sides, attach your data cables and add a screw to hold the post down. Attach a cover. Put two more screws in the back of the posts. Run your wire up the arm. And then attach it in the top of the gantry.
All right, so if you only did the printer, this is it and you're ready to rock. I've been doing the assembly over here at one of my workbenches, which is not normally where I film, but I just wanted to show you how compact it is. It is a smaller printer, not too small, but the idea is that it won't take up a huge amount of space in your shop, which is really good. It's about 4 to 5 impact drivers in width there. It's 15 inches by 16 inches at the base. The bed does move, so you do need a little bit of clearance in the back and the front. But overall, I just want to show you like it's not intrusive. It is die cast aluminum construction that's power coated throughout here, so it's made very rigid and it's not a plastic cheap thing. It has a fold out and rotatable touchscreen that's color right here in the front for controlling the unit at it. It has USB on here. Let's go ahead and set up though the CFS next to it because I want to be able to use multiple colors. The machine comes about 90% assembled, but fully assembled is the CFS. The only thing that we have to do in here is we take off these little trays, and there's some desiccant packets in here. They have them sealed in plastic, so you want to take the plastic off. This is to keep your filament dry. And so with this machine, what I can do is put my filament here and then feed it into this tube. And once we have everything set up, it'll know to just grab from which tube because the rolls actually have an RFID tag on them and it tells the machine, hey, this is green, this is white, etc. And so it's really easy to set up in that way. First, we start by attaching a sticker to this unit. And what this does is it allows you to attach the tube here to go to the print head. At the bottom, you have 4 ports, and so you can actually purchase 4 of the CFSs to have up to 16 colors attached to this if you want to. You peel the back, attach it onto the side, really get it on there good. At the print head, I am inserting the tube, and then at the other end, I'm inserting it into the top, but I first need to raise this spring and place it in. Then it's actually going to there we go. Pull it down into this unit. Attach the really long tube to any one of the 4 ports, and then into the back of the CFS. Then attach the long data cable to the printer on the side here, and then to the back of the machine. Then the short cable, we take the one with the right angle and attach it to the top of this unit, and then down into the other port of the CFS. We flick it on, and now you follow the on-screen instructions for how to set up the remainder.
For our first print, we're actually going to print a catch for the purge that comes out of the printer. This happens either when you're just getting ready on one filament or if you're doing multicolor. And so this is what flies out of the side of the printer. It's also known as poop. And so we don't want that to just clutter up the desk, so I've printed this bin. You can see that the print came out really, really clean on this one. We have some support still stuck to it. And then I also printed a small bracket that is used to hold it onto the side of the print head. And then we just clip it onto the side here, and this will catch all of the poop that it flings over onto the side rather than messing up my workstation here. And then whenever that fills up, I can empty it out. Our first functional print is a wall mount for my Makita 5-inch palm sander.
All right, so we just printed a Makita palm sander holder. This is wall mounted with 3 screws right here. I keep my dust extractor for my palm sander right here, and I usually just lay this back down on top. So now I'm going to be able to put this against the wall and holster this here.
Next up is my VIP holder. This is actually something that I designed.
All right, so our holder is printed. I feel it came out really nice for what it is. This is my VIP holder, and why do I call it that? Well, at every single station in my shop, I have something like this, and I'm actually going to print 4 more of these, and I'm going to customize them to each station, and that's because it's the things that I lose all the time. I'm always leaving my pencil somewhere, so I keep an abundance of pencils. I'm always leaving my tape measure somewhere, so again, I have a ton of tapes everywhere in the shop, and I'm glad I added this little thumb grab here. This station that we're at right now, I open a lot of boxes, so this is my box cutting knife and scissors. But over in another section of the shop, it might be that I want to use calipers, and this also fits my calipers too. So I'm going to kind of tailor the little side caddy for what's unique for each station. But you know, if you're like me and you're one of those people that just leave stuff all over the place, having these all around the place is nice.
Next, we have an articulating dust collection arm for your drill press. It comes complete with a blast gate that you mount onto the back of the fence. The print quality on this is really nice. There's only a layer line seam right here where it started each one of its revolutions, but there are things you can do to get rid of that. Everything really looks nice, and I've been keeping everything on your standard basic settings. I'm trying to demonstrate everything in here as basic beginner as possible. So no setting changes, and everything's turning out really nice.
So the first part of this print, we printed a mini blast gate. So we're going to put on the spacer and then our actual gate that goes up and down. You see it has these round pieces that stop it at the top and the bottom. Place the top one, and then we're going to use some M4 bolts. They need to be between 20 and 25 millimeters long. You're going to use 4 of them here, just to hold everything together. You leave the bottom 2 for mounting it to the back of a fence, either with screws or a bolt. And now we have this fun little blast gate. Now when it comes to the arm, we have the actual head that's going to go where your drill bit goes. So you see that it has this half moon shape cut out, and that's so your drill bit can actually pass right here really close, and so then it'll suck all of the wood chips right against the drill bit as you go. To assemble this, it's just snap fit pieces, so we're going to just push real hard. Now once you have these clicked together, they articulate. You can print a ton of these if you want to, and then you would attach it over to your mini blast gate like this. So you hook up your dust collection in the back at your fence, and then you can move this to wherever you need to collect your chips.
I ended up printing a whole bunch of extra articulating sections for this arm, and so you see when you actually put your dust collection really up close to your drill bit, it sucked up 100%. I literally had nothing fly over to the side, and it got everything. So this was a really, really useful print. This is a holder for my Milwaukee multi-tool. These are really oddly shaped tools, so you need a very specific holder for these. This one is wall mounted, and as you can see, I did a multicolor print, so it has white words on there that say multi-tool.
This was a multicolor print. You'll see that, it was overall the red, and then we went to white in there, and it's very clean, and it looks nice, and it's great. On a negative point, we have some waste, and this really was only red all the way up until here, and then one little layer of white. So I had to do this purge tower on the side until it got up to the white, and then it could have purged the white and kept going. Here's an example of the next print you're going to see after this, where it did white, and then we did a lot of layers of green afterwards. But so you have waste when you switch colors, because we have to basically get the red out of the machine and then get the white into the machine. And so it needs to kind of extrude a whole bunch of extra, because you're going to see it change colors in there as the red was still left over a little bit and then the white started to come through, and vice versa. So whenever you do multicolored prints, just know, and this is not exclusive to this machine, you end up creating a lot of waste. That's typically why I stick to one color a lot of the time.
Next, we're printing a French cleat mounted F-clamp rack. And you'll see holes on the side there. There are different models and they all kind of click together as well. But you'll notice in this print that there is some banding here. You'll see the difference in color in some of those layers. They directly correlate over to the layers that have those holes to the side. So it was that it moved over a slight bit from where it was when it was doing the really long runs. And we're also seeing it in the back a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just run a calibration on this and see if that removes the problem. Something I wanted to show you in case you're new to 3D printers is these multi-spool holders that feed the machine. They're not necessary. You can just use one spool at a time. And to be honest, when I'm making stuff here in the shop, 90% of what I make is usually black. I typically don't do multicolor just because of the waste that it creates. But there is another use for this. So if you don't intend on printing multicolor things all the time, don't think that this isn't for you. You can load multiples of the exact same color. So on this black one, since we're going to reprint that clamp holder again, I think I'm going to run out during this print. And this print is 10 hours long. So I want to run it overnight when I'm sleeping, and when I wake up, it'll be ready. So if this ran out, it would pause the printing. So you can actually put two of the same colors here. And then if this one runs out, it'll immediately jump to this one and keep printing throughout the night till the job's done. So after I started printing this, I was actually thinking that, I only printed it with 15% infill, and that means that a majority of this is actually hollow air in here. Infill refers to how much of the inside of this structure is solid. So if you did 100% infill, it would just be solid plastic all the way through. And I'm using PLA, which is the cheapest, easiest filament to use, but it's also a little bit brittle. It's not really bendy and strong like some of the other materials are. So after I started printing this, I was like, I don't know if this is actually going to survive. I might have to print it again with something a little more heavy duty. But I've already been playing with this, of course. It actually holds a good deal of weight. And when you really think about it, I'm running a peg out here, and yeah, it has a screw in it to help support, but really how much weight can that hold? So this actually is a very attractive, nice structured bracket for this. So it fits the normal size F clamps. My little fatter Bessie ones, it kind of bends it out a little bit. It still fits technically, though I don't know if I want to do that in the long run. I might look at some of the other designs that this has, or maybe even just alter it for my own use. But I can get 8 F clamps on there easily, of varying sizes. That's really nice, because usually I'm only getting about 6 on this. So it actually extends how much I can support on here. It looks nice. It's sturdy as is. So I'm actually going to go ahead and print a whole set of this to replace this clamp rack right here. I like this a lot. All right, so I printed a quick grip version of this. I really liked how the F-clamp one came out. But I definitely am not as happy with the print quality on this one. So if you can see, we have just a ton of lines everywhere. And you will notice that I printed it in a different orientation than I did with this one. This one was flat down, so we had some good smoothing on things. I think I really do need to try and print this again in the same orientation, because we got layer lines in here, like banding. We have heavy texture throughout here. Honestly, I don't think this is a very attractive print. So I just reprinted the quick grip one. Before I did, I ran 2 calibration passes on this just to make sure that everything was back in line, and the difference is huge between these 2 prints off of the same machine. So
Obviously, something was a little bit out of whack, and just that easy, quick calibration program that the printer does itself took care of everything, and now we have a really, really nice print all the way around. So 0 complaints on the print now, and I also changed the orientation. I basically did it flat instead of doing it up at that crazy angle that I was printing the previous one from. So, you know, when you encounter things like that, that is definitely your first order of business, is run some sort of calibration on there just to make sure that it's taking into account whatever's going on inside that machine.
Here's some specs on the Creality Hi. Of note is all of the automated features that really make this friendly to people new to 3D printing. Also, being fast and with a quality build is really attractive with this unit. On the folding color touchscreen, you have a very vibrant screen and you have very snappy feedback whenever you touch it, with access to pretty much all of the control over the unit. The CFS, you can have up to 4 of them hooked up to the same machine for up to 16 colors, has auto filament detection with its RFID tags, and it supports most of the standard 3D printing filaments.
So that was the Creality Hi Combo. You don't have to get the multi-filament system. You can just get the unit here, but it gives you the option for multicolor, which can be quite useful with this type of stuff. But it can also just be a repository for multiples of the exact same color, so you almost never run out of filament on there. You can do really long print jobs. All of the files that I have on here are free to download. I designed this one. The other ones were designed by other people, but that's the beauty of the 3D printing community. Everybody just puts their files out there, or most everybody puts their files out there for free for you to download. So there's millions of files at your disposal that you can just find something for a particular tool that you have, and I'm sure there's something out there for it. I'll attribute all of these people's files down below too. They deserve credit for their really cool work, especially this one. I love this one. And you know, I'm still a beginner at 3D printing. I like sharing these entry-level, more affordable printers to you to just kind of show you like, hey, you don't have to be scared of this, and you can learn as you go. With most things in life, that's how things go. So like this one, the print quality wasn't that great, but it really wasn't the printer's fault, because I printed it again in a different orientation, and this one came out fantastic. So it was more my mistake and a learning experience for me as to, you know, what I need to think about when I'm positioning my print file. Also, one of my clamps, this fatter Bessie here, doesn't fit as well in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go into the file and move it over just a little bit, making it a little bit more wide for the shaft there so that I can get all of my clamps on there. By editing that file, I'll learn a little bit each time in designing this type of stuff by playing around with these pre-made files. So that's what's really cool about seeing what other people are able to design. You learn every time you do something with it. Creality has a huge array of 3D printers. It's really great that they are positioning a more affordable unit with a lot of features to it available for us, but they have super high-end printers as well. Creality is one of the biggest 3D printer companies out there, so you can check out their stuff linked down below too. I hope you got a lot of good content from this video. If you did, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button. I hope I earned that. That's what really helps my channel grow. And as always, stay safe in the shop. I'll see you in the next one.